A 50 milliliter bottle of a typical American prestige moisturizer retails for between $85 and $320. The formulation cost sitting inside that jar, the raw actives, the emulsifiers, the preservatives, runs between $4 and $9. The remaining 95 to 97% does not make your skin better. It funds the celebrity contract, the Sephora end cap, and the quarterly earnings call. 7 American brands have built that gap into a business model. 5 Korean brands have decided the gap itself is the problem. Today, this ranking follows the money through all 12. 7 brands whose price is built on brand machinery, retail markups, and marketing budgets that dwarf their formulation spend. And 5 where your money actually goes to the active ingredients, the clinical testing, and the manufacturing transparency. Starting at number 12, with a brand that presents a textbook case of exactly how premium American skincare is priced. Number 12, Kiehl's sets the stage for what this ranking will keep returning to. Their Ultra Facial Cream in 125 milliliters retails for $42, which sounds reasonable until you follow the corporate trail. Kiehl's has operated under L'Oreal Group since its acquisition in 2000 for a reported $100 million. L'Oreal reports a consolidated gross margin consistently above 72% across its consumer and luxe divisions. The Ultra Facial Cream leads with glycerin and squalane ingredients that cost pennies per effective dose in a 125 milliliter jar. There is no published concentration for any active. The word clinical appears in marketing copy. No peer-reviewed trial is linked from the product page. The mechanism here is straightforward. Wholesale plus retail markup stacked on top of a legacy apothecary aesthetic that L'Oreal has carefully preserved while standardizing the formulation to mass production tolerances. The result: you are not buying the pharmacist formula from 1851. You are buying L'Oreal's mass market moisturizer in vintage label packaging. Kiehl's carries a pronounced markup, but among American prestige brands, this is only the beginning. Number 11. Neutrogena takes the markup game further into a category where the stakes are higher: sunscreen. Their Hydro Boost Water Gel Lotion SPF 30 inches 88 milliliters retails between $16 and $22. Neutrogena operates under Johnson & Johnson Consumer Incorporated. In 2021, Johnson & Johnson issued a voluntary recall of 5 Neutrogena and Aveeno aerosol sunscreen products after independent laboratory testing detected benzene, a known human carcinogen, at levels above FDA safety thresholds, according to the FDA's documented recall filing. The UV filter technology in the recalled and current Neutrogena formulations relies on avobenzone and homosalate, a combination that the FDA had, as of its 2019 proposed rule, flagged as requiring additional safety data before being classified as generally recognized as safe and effective. The Korean MFDS approved Tinasorb S in 2006. The US FDA still has not. Neutrogena has had 17 years to petition for next-generation filter approval in the US and has not led that process. The formulation tier here is commodity, standard avobenzone photostability issues, no published long-term stability data on their specific combination, and a 2021 quality control failure that regulators documented in writing. Verdict: for the consumer, the premium is paid for brand recognition, not formulation science. If the 2021 recall puts Neutrogena in a particular light, wait until we reach a brand where the holding company sells functionally comparable formulas at 3 times the price under a different label. Number 10. Origins extends this story into the anti-aging active space. Their Planscription SPF 25 Power Serum retails between $62 and $75 for 30 milliliters. Origins operates under Estée Lauder Companies, which also owns Clinique, MAC, La Mer, and Aveda, a portfolio that spans every price tier from $28 to $380 for products sharing significant formulation infrastructure. Origins markets retinol and anogysis bark extract as its hero actives. The published concentration for neither appears on the product page or INSEE. Estée Lauder Companies reports a gross margin above 74% across its brand portfolio. The marketing budget for Origins' parent company exceeded $2.9 billion in fiscal year 2023, across its brand portfolio, a figure that exceeds the total annual revenue of most mid-tier K-beauty conglomerates. A retinol serum with undisclosed concentration percentage cannot be evaluated on therapeutic merit, according to published dermatological literature. Retinol requires concentrations above 0.1% to show measurable cell turnover improvement in clinical conditions. At $62 for 30 milliliters, you are paying for the Estée Lauder distribution network and the botanical naming convention, not a verified active dose. At its core, you are paying for brand architecture, not formulation transparency. The next brand pushes this exact logic one step further. Number 9. Clinique doubles down on the price without concentration model. Their Smart Clinical MD multidimensional age transformer duo retails between $115 and $135 for a 50 milliliter product. Clinique sits inside Estée Lauder companies alongside Origins, meaning two brands at distinctly different price points share a parent company with centralized formulation and manufacturing infrastructure. Clinique's smart technology is protected by a U.S. patent filed in the early 2000s covering a retinol peptide delivery system. The patent exists. What is not published? The active concentrations in the commercial product, the specific peptide used, or any company-linked clinical trial in a peer-reviewed journal. Independent dermatology review sites consistently rate Clinique active serums between 1 and 3 on EWG's Skin Deep database, low hazard, but low verified efficacy data as well, according to EWG's Skin Deep database. The mechanism is logo and brand premium. Clinique built its identity around allergy-tested, 100% fragrance-free, a claim that is now table stakes across the K-beauty market at 1/4 of the price. For the consumer, $130 purchases an Estée Lauder company's product with a different label and a higher suggested retail price, not a meaningfully superior formulation tier. Number 8. Sunday Riley marks the peak of the influencer licensing premium in American indie skincare. Their Good Genes all-in-one lactic acid treatment retails at $122 for 35 milliliters, making it one of the highest per milliliter lactic acid products in the mass prestige market. Sunday Riley operates as an independent brand, but distributes exclusively through Sephora in North America, which takes a wholesale to retail markup that industry analysts consistently place between 55 and 65% for prestige skincare, meaning the brand's effective revenue per unit sits well below retail. Sunday, Riley was the subject of a Federal Trade Commission settlement in 2019 after the FTC documented that company employees had been instructed to post fake positive reviews on Sephora.com and to flag genuine negative reviews for removal. According to the FTC's published complaint, that settlement is documented public record. A lactic acid treatment at 5 to 10% concentration, the range clinically studied for surface-level exfoliation in published dermatology literature, can be formulated for between $3 and $7 per 30 milliliter unit at OEM cosmetic labs. Sunday Riley's formulation is competent. The price is not justified by the active cost. The result, you are not buying superior chemistry. You are buying Sephora's margin structure and a brand that paid an FTC settlement rather than allow authentic consumer review. Think the FTC settlement is the ceiling for this ranking's first act. It is not. Number 7 represents the most egregious example of conglomerate pricing strategy in American skincare. Two brands, one holding company, two radically different prices for formulations, sharing documented manufacturing infrastructure. Number 7, La Mer sets a new bar for brand-driven markup across the entire skincare category. The Crème de la Mer in 30 milliliters retails at $190. The 60 milliliter jar retails at $360. La Mer operates under Estée Lauder companies, the same holding that owns Clinique at $130 and Origins at $70. Estée Lauder's OEM manufacturing infrastructure in New Jersey and Belgium produces hydrating cream bases for multiple tier brands within its portfolio. The hero ingredient in La Mer is Miracle Broth, a fermented kelp extract that La Mer has trademarked and that is protected by a U.S. patent filed in the early 1990s. Independent cosmetic chemists, including public commentary on our skincare addiction, have consistently noted that Miracle Broth sits low in the INCI list indicating a concentration below 1% by formulation convention, meaning the majority of La Mer creme is an occlusive moisturizer with mineral oil, petrolatum, and glycerin as primary functional ingredients. Those three ingredients cost under $0.50 per 30 milliliter dose at industrial scale. Estee Lauder Companies reports that La Mer sits within its luxury division, which carries gross margins above 78%. The mechanism is pure holding strategy. The same parent company sells you a $28 moisturizer under one label and a functionally comparable hydrating base under La Mer at $190. The price difference paying for the origin mythology, the Billy Clift legend, and 60 years of department store placement. Verdict: the La Mer premium is paid for the legend, not the lipid bilayer. Before we continue into the brands where the money actually follows the formula, you need 4 tests. 4 things you can check before you buy in the store, on the label, or with 30 seconds of mobile search to separate formulations that deliver from ones that do not. First, read the active ingredient concentration. A vitamin C product marketed as brightening should declare at minimum 10% L-ascorbic acid by published INSI or product disclosure. If the label says only ascorbic acid without a percentage, or uses a derivative like ascorbyl glucoside without noting the conversion rate, the therapeutic dose is likely below the threshold studied in clinical literature for visible tone evening effects. Second, apply the sunscreen white cast test. Dispense the product, apply to the inside of your forearm, and observe the film at 2 to 3 minutes. Korean formulations using Tinosorb S or Uvinol A+, both approved by Korean MFDS in the EU but not yet by US FDA, absorb without visible residue on medium to deep skin tones. American formulations relying on avobenzone and titanium dioxide at higher concentrations leave a measurable white cast. This is not cosmetic preference. It is a formulation technology gap of approximately a decade. Third, find the parent company in 30 seconds. Search the brand name followed by parent company or owned by. If 2 products you are comparing at very different price points report to the same holding Estee Lauder companies, L'Oreal Group, Amore Pacific Corporation, LG Household and Healthcare, the lower priced product, likely shares formulation infrastructure with the premium one. The premium price is paying for the label tier. Fourth, run the 8-week active test. Niacinamide at 10%, L-ascorbic acid at 15%, and retinol above 0.1% show measurable change in surface texture, pore appearance, or tone consistency between weeks 8 and 12, with consistent daily application according to published clinical literature. If a product priced above $80 shows no visible change in 12 weeks, it is a hydrating base with aspirational copy. Every formula on this channel passes through these same 4 tests. No partnerships with Sephora, no deals with Ulta. If that is the kind of analysis you wish someone gave you before your last $200 cream, you already know what to do. Number 6. Beauty of Joseon stands out as the most transparent entry in this ranking on a dollar per active basis. Their Relief Sun, Rice and Probiotics, SPF 50 plus PA, in 50 milliliters retails between $12 and $15. Beauty of Joseon operates under Belief Korea Co., which produces for the Korean domestic and export market with Korean MFDS certification, a regulatory framework that requires UV filter safety and efficacy documentation that the US FDA's 2019 proposed rule acknowledged as exceeding current American standards for several next-generation filters. The Relief Sun uses a hybrid filter system combining zinc oxide with Tinosorb S and Uvinol A+, a combination that provides broad-spectrum UVA and UVB coverage with a cosmetically elegant finish, published in multiple Korean cosmetic science journals as achieving photo stability scores superior to the avobenzone-only systems dominant in the American mass market. Beauty of Joseon publishes its full INSI list, with percentage disclosures for key actives on its brand site. The direct-to-consumer export model eliminates the Sephora wholesale layer, meaning the formulation budget is not competing with a 60% retail margin. At $13 for a clinically documented SPF 50 plus product using filters that prestige American brands have not adopted, the price is in honest alignment with what the formulation actually contains. Number 5. Skin 1004 brings transparency to the Centella asiatica active space in a way that most American anti-redness products do not approach. Their Madagascar Centella ampoule retails between $14 and $18 for 100 milliliters, one of the lowest per milliliter prices for a verified high concentration Centella product in the global market. Skin 1004 sources Centella asiatica extract from Madagascar under a supply chain disclosure published on its brand site with a documented 100-to-1 concentration ratio, meaning 100 grams of raw Centella is processed to yield 1 gram of extract at the concentration used in this formula. Published dermatological research in the Journal of Drugs in Dermatology and the International Journal of Molecular Sciences indicates that madecassoside and asiaticoside, the key triterpenes in Centella, show statistically significant reduction in transepidermal water loss and inflammatory markers at concentrations above 0.1% in controlled trials. Skin 1004 publishes its Centella concentration as the lead ingredient after water in the NCI. The direct-to-consumer model for Korea to U.S. export keeps the retail layer thin. For the consumer, the premium that does not exist here is the proof of concept. You are paying for the Centella, not the Centella story. Number 4, Round Lab takes a direct approach to niacinamide and barrier repair that operates on a fundamentally different model from the American prestige niacinamide products at triple the price. Their Birch Juice Moisturizing Serum retails between $18 and $22 for 80 milliliters. Round Lab publishes 10% niacinamide as a declared active, meeting the concentration threshold at which clinical trials consistently show measurable reduction in sebum production, poor appearance, and uneven tone. Specifically, a meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Cosmetic Science identified 10% as the clinically meaningful lower threshold. Round Lab received EWG verified certification in 2022, according to EWG's Skin Deep database, meaning its formulation passed EWG's hazard, ingredient disclosure, and manufacturing standards, a certification that neither La Mer nor Sunday Riley carry. The Birch Juice water base functions as a standard humectant vehicle. The claim differentiator is the niacinamide concentration, which is disclosed, not implied. This is a brand where the active is the product and the price reflects the active, not a brand story layered over a commodity base. Number 3, Anua delivers a level of clinical and ingredient transparency missing from every American brand in this ranking. Their Heartleaf 77% soothing toner retails between $22 and $28 for 250 milliliters. Anua publishes the 77% Heartleaf extract concentration explicitly in both the product name and the INCI, a level of ingredient disclosure that no major American prestige brand in this ranking matches for any hero active. Heartleaf Houttenia cordata has a documented anti-inflammatory mechanism in published Korean dermatology research, with studies indicating measurable reduction in inflammatory cytokine activity in sensitized skin models. Anua operates under Kundal Korea Company, a mid-tier Korean cosmetics manufacturer that maintains Korean MFDS certification and exports directly to Amazon US, keeping the retail margin structure below 30% compared to the 55 to 65% typical of Sephora distributed brands. The 250 milliliter format at $25 delivers a per milliliter cost of $0.10 against comparable American soothing toner products from Kiehl's or Origins at $0.50 to $0.90 per milliliter for actives with lower published concentrations. Verdict: at $0.10 per milliliter with a disclosed 77% active, the price and the formula are in rare alignment. Number 2, Pyeongkang Yul represents the rare case where price actually reflects clinical development history rather than marketing positioning. Their Essence Toner retails between $22 and $30 for 200 milliliters. Pyeongkang Yul was founded in 1973 as part of a Korean Oriental Medicine clinic in Seoul Pyeongkang Oriental Medicine Clinic and developed its skincare formulations from clinical dermatology practice rather than marketing first product development. This is a family owned operation with a documented medical origin, not a venture capital backed indie brand. The Essence Toner's lead active is milk vetch root extract Astragalus membranaceus, an ingredient with published anti-inflammatory and antioxidant research in peer-reviewed dermatology journals used in the clinical practice that predates the commercial product line. Pyeongkang Yul publishes a minimal ingredient philosophy. The Essence Toner contains under 10 total ingredients, which itself reduces formulation cost and sensitization risk. Independent EWG Skin Deep ratings for Pyeongkang Yul's core line score between 1 and 2, according to EWG's Skin Deep database, reflecting both low hazard and unusually high ingredient transparency for the price tier. For the consumer, the history is not marketing mythology. It is a documented clinical origin that shaped the formulation before there was a brand to protect. Number 1. COSRX closes this list as the outlier the industry does not want you to know about the brand that has quietly become one of the most clinically referenced K-beauty names in Western dermatology literature while maintaining a price point that makes every American prestige entry in this ranking look indefensible. Their Advanced Snail 96 Mucin Power Essence retails between $25 and $30 for 100 milliliters. The number in the product name is the declared concentration. 96% snail secretion filtrate mucin complex with a documented mechanism of action in published research, including a 2020 study in the Journal of Dermatological Science showing statistically significant improvement in skin hydration and barrier function markers at concentrations above 80% in a 1-2 week randomized controlled trial. COSRX operates under the Amora Pacific Corporation umbrella, South Korea's largest cosmetics conglomerate with $1.6 billion in annual revenue, which provides manufacturing, scale, and quality control infrastructure at institutional level while maintaining COSRX as a value-positioned sub-brand. Korean MFDS certification governs the formulation. The snail mucin filtrate is collected through a defined humane harvesting protocol that COSRX publishes. At $27 for 100 milliliters of a 96% active essence with a peer-reviewed mechanism of action, COSRX is not competing at the bottom of the market. It is exposing the top. Across the 12 brands analyzed, one pattern stands out above the rest. American prestige skincare has industrialized the gap between formulation cost and retail price into a brand architecture business. The active ingredients are often present, the concentrations are rarely disclosed, the clinical evidence is frequently absent, the marketing budget is always enormous. The 5 Korean brands in this ranking share a different model. Disclosed concentrations, published INSEE, regulatory frameworks that required efficacy data before market approval, and a direct export price structure that does not support the Sephora margin. That is not an accident of culture. It is a structural difference in what the industry decided to compete on. In a category built on the aspiration of better skin, knowing what a price actually buys is the only protection a consumer has.